welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Angelica here. If you're new, come in, have a seat, have several seats, and if you're not new, thank you for having me once again all up on your screen. This video has been a long time. It's been a long time coming. Been meaning to make this video for a very long time, but we are finally getting to do it. This video is about how to get work experience in the legal industry, specifically corporate law. Oh, got a hiccup. So essentially I'm going to be speaking about my vacation scheme that I did in my first year and programs that I've done up till date. This is another installment of my internship series for you guys who've been contacting me about how to get work experience in the legal industry. I've had a wide range of work experience in commercial law as well as non-commercial law, which we can discuss later, but I have had more experience in the solicitors firms rather than as opposed to barristers chambers, but nonetheless I've had experience in both, so I can talk to you about both. So first things first, I'm just going to speak a bit about myself. I am a second year law student at the London School of Economics and Political Science, also known as LSE. I'm out of breath because that was a long sentence. Yeah, I've done work experience in Magic Circle law firms as well as American firms. So Magic Circle law firms are essentially the elite British top 5 firms. And American firms that I've been to are also the top American firms, but they are now essentially international firms, because although they're American, they're trying to rebrand it as international firms, but really they have their roots in America. So yeah, I've also interned in the Silver Circle firms, so those who which aren't like the top 5 firms, and also firms that aren't necessarily silver and aren't Magic Circle but are basically still like top 10. There are a few, like I know that for instance DLA Piper, if you guys have heard about DLA Piper, it's not a Magic Circle, but it had, I think 2 years ago, it was like the highest had the highest revenue out of the British firms. So Magic Circle doesn't mean like they are absolutely the best. Like it does vary basically. Like it's just like a group of elite firms. I'm gonna list the firms I've been to for those of you who are wondering. So well, it's kind of hard to say. Like this could be a very long list because some of these programs are like short programs. Some of these and some of the programs I've done are longer programs, like actual vacation schemes and internships. But I'll list the firms that I've been to, then I will list the firms I've interned. No, I'll list the firms that I've interned at, then I'll include any other firms that I have done short programs with. So I've interned at Latham Watkins, Eversheds, Linklaters, Clifford Chance, Freshfields, Clary Gottlieb. I've been to Herbert Smith Freehills, Allen Overy, DLA Piper, Kirkland and Ellis. I've been to some other American firms like Sherman and Sterling. I've been to a few firms is what I can say. I'll just say I've been to a few firms and done a few programs with them. Some of these firms have mentors there, and also I'm on some programs with some of these firms. So for instance, Eversheds, I'm on a 5-year program with Eversheds where they basically support me throughout my entire degree. So I've been on this program since 2015. So it's mad to think that I'm going to, they basically invest in my future, just because they want to. So I'm on some programs with these firms, and yeah, so that's a little short background on me. And I've been in various divisions. I don't know if I don't want to get too technical. Lawyers do a variety of things. Corporate law, you can do projects, you can do equity debt markets, you can do M&A, legal. There are so many things that you can do in these firms. So first things first, you guys know I'm very frank about social mobility. You know that I believe strongly in the idea of contextual recruitment, and I believe that more needs to be done to attract people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds into the corporate industries that they deserve to be in. My first exposure into the legal industry was through a program run by the Sutton Trust called Pathways to Law. It was essentially for young people from underrepresented backgrounds. The aim of it was to give us an exposure into the industries we're interested in and to essentially get help with preparing for university as well. So on this program I was partnered with LSE, so that's how I got my first exposure into LSE. So that was in 2014, and I was basically on the program for 2 years, and with that I got my work experience at Evershards. So since then, like, I was so lucky to have been on that program with Evershards because it turned into something more permanent, because I stayed on, like, they chose me to be on a program where they supported me and gave me a mentor for 5 years, which I'm still on. So Pathways to Law I got on, and that's how I got my first work experience, and from then on I basically just built my CV. Like, before this, like, even when I had nothing on my CV, I've always believed that no experience is useless. Like, I believe that your skills are more important than what you've done. You know, your CV is not about where you've interned. It might look like it is when you're junior, but it's really about what value you've added to wherever you've gone to and what you've gained, how you've developed from all the experiences that you've had and your internships. When I didn't have any legal work experience, I used my non-legal work experience, for instance, customer service, things I was doing in my school and politics, and then I got a bit of work experience in the legal industry, and from then on I built that up. And I also basically utilized a lot of organizations. In the legal industry there is a huge disparity between various groups in terms of access. So there are loads of organizations that basically exist to widen access to the legal industry. So I use SEO London, which is a charity, stands for Sponsors for Educational Opportunity. I was an SEO scholar. They literally helped me so much, and honestly, like, they opened so many doors. So now on to me applying in first year for my vacation scheme that I got at Clifford Chance, and for the first year program at Linklaters, which I did in my first year. Before this I had actually already been to Clifford Chance, so I did a program called the Prime Work Experience for year 13 students. I think they also open it for year 12, I'm not even sure, but if you're interested, look that up. And I also basically got on to Pathways Plus, which was a extension. It's basically like an extension of, it's basically like the university version of Pathways to Law, which I did during sixth form. It's a lot more selective and competitive. Like, there are like 400 places for Pathways to Law across the country, but for Pathways Plus there are only 60 spaces, so it's really, like, even more competitive than Pathways to Law was. But I got on that program and I did a work experience with Linklaters in 2017, or yeah, right before I started my first year at LSE. And I'd also been there a few times for open days and events. So going to my first year, I knew, you know, I knew a lot about Linklaters, I knew a lot about Clifford Chance because I've been there many times. Like, Clifford Chance, I've literally probably been to that firm about like 10 times, 10 separate occasions. So I applied for their first year programs. Vacation schemes aren't really a thing for first year students. They're usually for second year students, because obviously you have the prospect of being able to convert it to a training contract. So people, they don't play with that. Firms don't play with that. So yeah, but I was lucky to get one in my first year. And the application process wasn't too bad. We had to do Watson Glaser tests for both Linklaters and Clifford Chance. So this is essentially a verbal reasoning test that you can prepare for, essentially, well, not prepare, but you can practice. You can get better at it, but you can't actually be prepared for the test. You either are able to do it effectively or you're not. It's kind of a skills-based thing and how you think type of thing, but you can get better at it. So I applied, and I had, for Linklaters, the application was a bit more simple. I did the what's in Glaser, and then they read my application. They got me to write about 750 words, maybe like 800 words on in response to various questions. So why I was interested in law, why I was interested in Linklaters, an achievement I was proud about. I had to give them my grades and how I was doing my essays. I basically did like an online form, and they got back to me and told me, congratulations, you got the place. And for Clifford Chance, oh yeah, that is crazy. The way it worked is so crazy. So basically for Clifford Chance, I basically had to do an application form, and I had to give about like 800 words again on who I am, tell us about yourself, and if I had done the prime scheme before, tell me about like what you learned there, people you've met at Clifford Chance. Basically that's why I wrote my application. After doing that, then they sent me the what's in Glaser. Some people did their application and wrote 600 words on themselves, and then they got the test, and then they failed the test, and their application was never looked at. So I don't know, that was like kind of brutal, but your girl passed. Your girl passed. I did the test, and I was told that I did well in the test, and they didn't give me feedback, but they did give people who failed feedback, and then they basically had an open day. Like they basically had an event just for people who didn't do well at the test, and brought them in to the firm. I thought that was really sweet, because most of the time, like when you do these applications, they just say bye, PFO. If you guys know what PFO means, then they basically say like, leave us alone, don't ever apply here again. We don't need your stupid skills, we don't need you. No, I'm joking, they don't say that, but it always seems like you kind of feel scared to ever apply again. You're like, oh my god, what if they flag me on the system? What if it says alert, 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 block, delete this person? But like Clifford Chance is not like that. They want you to improve. So yeah, I passed the Watson Glaser test. Then I had an assessment centre, and I was tested on various things. I had case studies, and I had 2 interviews, and one of the interviews was essentially me presenting to a partner how I would solve a problem that they gave me to solve. I was under time conditions in every respect possible. The first guy that interviewed me was a senior associate, so sweet. It's basically a competency interview. And the second woman was a partner, and that was more technical. So I got the call in like 2 days, basically telling me, you got the offer. I was like, oh my god, yay, I accept. Like one idiot. I was like, I accept the offer. Like one silly goat. I should have at least, kind of looked a little bit suspecting. A little bit, like, oh right, I knew I was gonna get that offer. Like, I could have at least acted a little bit more cool about, I accept, like, silly girl. But I basically got the offer, and life was good. The vacation scheme was amazing, so cool. The vacation scheme, we basically got to go to their offices in London, or their office in London, and as part of the program, I unfortunately could not make it because I was working at an investment bank at the same time, and they knew that, by the way. They knew that. I couldn't take like longer leave, so I could not go. But part of the program, they took everyone who got on the program. There were 30 spaces during my scheme. They took them to Amsterdam, to their Amsterdam office, which was, from what I saw, it was phenomenal. And they got them a hotel, treated them well, got them to hang out with trainees and the associate, like honestly, like amazing firm. And as for Linklaters, so that was in the summer, but as for Linklaters, my program was in the end of March. I basically got a choice of the dates. I basically got a choice of 3 dates that I could have gone, and I chose to go at the end of March. Sat in 2 seats, so I sat in tax, and I also sat in corporate, I believe, and that was a good experience. It was a bit shorter than the other program at Clifford Chance, but I honestly loved those 2 firms so much. Like, I love them. If anyone from Linklaters is watching this, or Clifford Chance, I love you. and since then I've obviously been like doing other things outside of law, and I think that strengthens my applications in general. Like the fact that I have, honestly, I've been saying I have a life outside of my CV. You know, I got things to do, got things going on, and the corporate industry, it's actually very interconnected. So just because you've worked in banking doesn't mean that like you can't work in corporate law. If anything, you could be working on deals, you know, that investment bankers work on. You never know. You never know. You could be doing restructuring, you know, working with a consultant. So there are so many opportunities in the corporate industry, and yeah, so that's how I got my work experience, that's how I got my insight into the legal industry. And since then I've done other programs, I've done things with aspiring solicitors, rare recruitment as well. Amazing. If you guys want any, like, if you want me to hook you up, if you want me to you know, give you advice on how to stand out in your applications, get in touch. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to connect with me on my other social media channels. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, and I'll see you in my next. Bye. Pause before, please.